I'm Liam, and this was my gap year.
I just heard thunder. But if we get we're sending it through the jungle.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of My Gap Year. In this week's episode, I travel to northern India and discover what it's like in the Himalayas. Our time in the mountains began with a very long 14-hour night train ride from Delhi to Mussoorie. Spending the entire night on a train was a really interesting experience. It felt like some sort of epic journey the protagonist takes in some random movie. Once we arrived in Mussoorie, we had to take a car from town all the way up a super windy road to reach the Hanifl Center, which is where we would be spending the next 20 days learning about disaster medicine and tons of things about the Himalayan mountains. During the first few days at the Hanifl Center, we learned a lot about the ecology of the Himalayas. This was really interesting for me, as I got to do a lot of observation of nature and how everything is connected and has its own role in the scheme of things. When observing the surrounding area, I noticed how trees provide shelter and oxygen for organisms, and also lock the steep hillsides together with their roots to prevent landslides. How the large birds of prey flying high above the mountaintops work to balance out the rest of the ecosystem, and how the small grasses, flowers, and mosses all play their roles in providing food and shelter for small organisms all over the surrounding area. During those days, I got the chance to see some really cool things. Gray langur monkeys, green-colored warblers, steppe eagles, and vultures. I also got to hear the call of a barking deer and smell the scent which indicates a group of wild boar were recently nearby. The next couple of days at the Hanifl Center were dedicated to learning about disaster medicine. This course was basically a continuation of the first aid course we took back in Costa Rica. It went over similar material, but this time it was in the context of disaster situations. We even got the chance to do some practice scenarios where we put our skills to use. So, after practicing our disaster medicine skills and learning about the Himalayan ecology, it was time to embark on our week-long trek through the mountains of northern India.
We're off on our hiking adventure.
We are off on our hiking adventure.
Haha.
I've been looking at the ground.
It was really cool to just be walking along a winding trail through the mountains and suddenly arrive at a little village tucked away in a valley. It was also a bit intimidating to be walking right on the edge of these narrow pathways on the side of a mountain with huge backpacks on. You really can't understand the sheer size of these mountains until you're standing on the side of one. And also, these aren't even the big Himalayas. These were basically just like little foothills leading up to the biggest mountains.
I don't.
No. I used to know.
Got some cows on the path.
these rocks. I wonder if it's that plant that
Maybe. Trying to figure out what this flower is. Because we don't know. Bro. There's so many of them. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's the dog. You see the collar on the dog? Yeah. That's a metal collar. Okay. So that's the only thing. And use meditation and But usually, sometimes they also paint white markers at night so the trail can be visible from a distance.
What you see here is an Om symbol painted on the side of this cliff. And like our guide was saying, they are sometimes painted like this so the trail can be more easily visible at night or from far away. Along the way, these beautiful views never disappointed.
Windy. Whoa, we're almost to camp. We're about less than 30 minutes away.
When we arrived at our first campsite, we realized we had actually gotten there before the cooking crew, which meant we didn't have our tents yet either. At the same time, a rainstorm broke out, so we ended up taking shelter for a while in the home of a very generous family. They offered us chai, and we got to see some beautiful views of the mountains after the storm.
Whoa. There's a rainbow. No cap. Legit. It's down there.
He's from Nepal. From Nepal. Yeah.
We got the tent set up. And we're ready to camp. I'll give you a tour of the surrounding campsite. MTV Cribs, bro. Let me show you. Here's the outdoors. Here are my camp shoes, which are Vans brands, because Vans are amazing. Slide these bad boys on. So there's our tent. Got some more tents up here. Tents down here. It's pretty dope here. And I almost fell in a hole. And here is our snack bag. We have 80,000 pounds of nuts, chocolate bars, Snickers, the works. We have to wipe our ass with our hands with soap and water.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I did end up learning a new technique of wiping my butt after going to the bathroom, since it's not nice to just leave nasty toilet paper on the trail. And I'm not gonna lie, cleaning your butt with soap and water is way better than just rubbing a piece of paper on it. The next morning, we woke up to this amazing view.
We do 45 down, catch jeeps there, go and then hike.
Alright, I know the plan now. All I heard was an hour and a half. I thought it
That's a Himalayan griffin. It's huge. It has a wingspan of like 8 or 9 feet.
He's right above us. Whoa. Hey, there's a bone over there. You can eat it. So the lemagires, they'll take bones.
That's a big ass bird.
And they take them up and they drop them, and then they crack and come down and eat the bone. There's a bone over there.
That bird is a vulture, if you didn't know. He's showing off for the camera.
You look good, dog, if you're
Yeah. It was incredible.
It was good. Well, your laugh has something to do with it as well.
Back on the trail again for day 2. And we arrived at our next campsite super fast. This one also had amazing views.
Wrapper of the biscuit? Yeah. You got it?
Lauren, wave to the camera. The sunset. Bro.
It's sunsetting.
It's Sunday. What day is it?
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
And there's the sun. 1, 2, 3. It's Monday.
And day number, well, I'm not sure what day it is because I skipped filming a few days, but anyway, back on the trail again for some nice foresty views.
This is the money tree, and if you bang a coin into it, it sticks. Like this one, my coin. Then your wish will come true. So I banged a coin into it. Hopefully my wish comes true. And now I'm gonna go look at the Himalayas, which apparently you can see, the big range, which apparently you can see over there. But I'll go look.
We hiked to the top of this little summit and did some reflection and meditation.
Summit.
While looking out over these mountains, I came to a realization that I was out of touch with gratitude at that time in my life. I was standing there on that mountain, feeling the same pull of gravity that I always do, but I was on the other side of the world. I thought about all my friends and family back home, and everything in my life that I love and feel grateful for. That was a really humbling feeling, and it made me realize the importance of appreciation.
The big Himalayas. Look at them. Himalayas? Himalayas. No, they say Himalayas here. Himalayas. Big ones. I see them finally. Look at them. Feast your eye. Be free, oh, find me somebody to love, find me somebody to love.
And just like that, my trek through the Himalayas was over. We were on our way back to the Hanifl Center singing Queen songs in a Jeep. During this whole gap year experience, I went through a lot of tough times mentally. I experienced new places and cultures, and I navigated myself through this new phase of life. I gained a sense of confidence that I don't think I'll ever lose, and now I feel like the whole world has opened up to me. I can't wait to see what life holds for me in the future. Days later, my gap year was cut short due to the pandemic, and I flew back home from India to wait this whole thing out. Times have been tough, and occasionally I feel like this will never end. But whenever I feel like the whole world is closing up around me and things will never be the same, I think back to when I was sitting by myself at the Hanifl Center in Mussoorie, India, looking out over these mountains. March 9th, 2020. I sit here atop Mother Earth. I look down across the vast expanse in front of me. These peaks, valleys, created by a collision so powerful it brings the ancient sea floor thousands of feet above its home. This jagged landscape exists before me as a result of chaos. All this beauty, allure, sustenance, life. It all derives from chaos. There are terraces, steps carved out of the mountains by humans. The animals, plants, and everything that exists leaves its mark on the landscape. The sun feels closer now. It oozes onto my skin, its rays cutting through my hooded sweatshirt and providing me with warmth. I still breathe in the cool mountain air. All unnecessary thoughts just drift away. Thanks for watching this episode of My Gap Year. I really hope you enjoyed this series, and most of all, I hope you learned something about the world, ways of life, travel, or even yourself. I hope I inspired you to go after your dreams no matter what anyone says. After all, life goes pretty fast and things can change right in front of your eyes. So I say, go out and do exactly what makes you happy. If you enjoy these videos, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you haven't seen all the episodes in this series yet, go back and watch them all. Also, if you feel like my videos bring you value and you'd like to help me follow my passion and continue creating, feel free to become a patron. Check out the link to my Patreon page in the description. I'm going to be posting journal entries from this Himalayan trek as sort of like an audiobook kind of thing. So if you want to check those out and you want to learn a little bit more about what was going through my head during my time and everything, be sure to check out my Patreon. I'll definitely be posting a lot of other bonus content about this series too. And once again, thanks so much for watching.